It's time for Michael Morales Torres and Lucha Libre Online.
Saludos a toda la afición de la lucha libre. Este que les habla es Michael Morales Torres, integrante del equipo de Lucha Libre Online. Y tenemos el enorme privilegio de presentarles a nuestro invitado especial en la tarde de hoy, directamente desde Doha, Qatar, para el mundo, representando a QPW. Él es el dueño, el presidente de Qatar Pro Wrestling. Ali Al-Marafi is in the house with us here in Lucha Libre Online. Sir, it is an honor for us to have you as our guest. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for inviting me for this interview. This is my first time on your YouTube channel.
Yes, it is the first time for Ali Al-Marafi on Lucha Libre Online.
Yes.
So for us, it is an honor. And just wanted, to start the interview asking you, how did your passion for pro wrestling started? I mean, you live in the other side of the world. You live in Qatar, where pro wrestling before you wasn't that popular. So which product or which wrestler or rivalry engaged you enough to decide to do this?
I started watching wrestling since 1984. I was a little kid. I was around 7 years, maybe. And in that time, every Thursday night, we can watch wrestling through TV as a program. And in that time, we know people like Andre the Giant, Tony Garea, Hulk Hogan, Iron Sheik, Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race. And they've been like a superstar for us. But in that time, Superfly Jimmy Snuka was my superstar. But I was not this big fan of him that time. Just this is how I start watch wrestling, because my older brothers was watching wrestling every weekend. So that's how I start. But I was not this big wrestling fan in that time. Until WrestleMania 6, I was the Ultimate Warrior big fan. So when I found out that he defeated Hulk Hogan, this is how I become a big fan of wrestling. But there was a wrestling show every week here also in Qatar on TV.
So I'll translate that to Spanish briefly. Ali Al-Marafi no era muy fanático de la lucha libre, pero en el 84, en el 1984, comenzó a ver la industria de la lucha libre cuando solo tenía 7 años. Entonces, a partir de eso, sus hermanos mayores ponían el producto y él veía superestrellas como Andre the Giant, como Tony Garea, entre muchas otras personas, pero menciona que no era un súper fanático, simplemente la veía pues por sus hermanos. No fue hasta WrestleMania 6 cuando su luchador favorito, The Ultimate Warrior, gana el título y tiene esta exposición que él dice como que esto es lo que yo quiero hacer y se convierte en un fanático full de la lucha libre. Pasaba un show de lucha libre en Qatar toda la semana, así que ese dato es bastante interesante. Was there any, pro wrestling companies before QPW in the Middle East, in Qatar, in Saudi Arabia, in Oman?
No, there was not even one company, but we invited WWE so many times to come to Middle East, to Qatar, to Kuwait, so many times to Kuwait. They came in 1982, as I believe, here in Qatar with Mr. Fuji and the Moondogs, Rocky Johnson, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, and so many more big names in that time. That was their first team came here in Qatar, and there was no wrestling company at all. There is some Arabic wrestlers, but they were not working for a company here in Middle East. Just they work for Europe promotions, but they are very famous in that time, like John Saad and his brother Andre Saad. They've been work with the French promotion. There was Mamdou, who was working in Austria. There is Adnan Al-Qaisi, who was working also for AWA and WWF in that time. But there was no wrestling company at all.
I'll translate that. En aquel momento dado, no había empresa de lucha libre en Qatar, sino que ellos invitaron a WWE a llegar a lugares como Qatar, como Kuwait, de diferentes partes del Medio Oriente, y pues ellos llegaron con sus giras con talentos como Mr. Fuji, llevaron en su momento dado a Rocky Johnson, entre muchas otras superestrellas, y llegaron de esa manera, pero no había nada. Así había luchadores en la península arábica que luchaban en Austria y en diferentes partes del mundo, Francia, pero no había lucha libre. So, how was QPW born? Who reached you with the idea in order to start a pro wrestling company in Qatar?
It's a long story because It's all from, you know, it's come to my mind on 1999. There was a small wrestling show that came to Qatar in 1999. And there was Chris Tatanka, who's else? Yokozuna and these wrestlers in that time, they all came to Qatar in 1999. So I asked the promoter himself to make me involved, at least just make me, like what we say, one of the crew team. I just want to be on backstage. I want to learn more about pro wrestling, how it's all, how it's worked behind the scenes, how we can get all this together to make a wrestling show. So he was very good with me. He teach me everything. He was like, as you say, he's like my master in that time. And and his name was John Saada. He's the Lebanese, the legend, wrestling Lebanese legend at that time. So he helped me so much. From 1999, I was thinking about to have a wrestling show and company here in Middle East because it was good. I tried so many times, but at that time I was very young. You know, you're talking about someone's, 20, 21 years old in that time. And I had no company in that time. So I just worked with some Indeed wrestling shows here in Middle East, but most of them are not from local company. They all came from, like Mexican wrestlers, from South Africa, from Europe, non-famous wrestlers. I've been working with Yokozuna, I've been working with Tatanka, Jean-Pierre Lavitte, Carl Olet, or PCO. But in the end, I tried my best to do something until 2011. They all start on 2011 when my partner, Bilal Taha, brought the WWE tour to Qatar. And we find out that more than 12,000 people attendance for the show. So I found out that there is a big number of fans love wrestling. So that's why I decided to talk with my partner. I told him that, Bilal, we're supposed to have a wrestling company. And I have my ideas. And also I have my communication and relationship with so many wrestlers and the promoter that they can help me. From 2011 until 2013, we were, we have to study the project, how we have to bring, how we can make our name. And until 2013, we invited people like Bobby Lashley, Chris Masters, Carlito, Vezra or Big Daddy V, Renny Dopri, Carlito, Alufa, Lloyd Anwai, so many names from different countries. And we found that everyone talking about QPW in that time. In 2015, we did a big show in Old Market here in Qatar. We call it Souk Waqif. And around 2,000 people, it was sold out, by the way, 2,000 people came to watch this show with Rey Mysterio, Alberto Del Rio, John Morrison, Booker T, Hardcore Holly, Brodus Clay, Mason Ryan, Jinder Mahal was there. So many big names. And that is how we established QPW.
I'll translate that to Spanish from the start. En el 99 ocurre un show en Qatar que estaban talentos como Yokozuna, como Tatanka y diferentes personas. Y ese show era comandado por John Sar del Líbano, una leyenda de la lucha libre libanesa. Y él, Ali, le pide a John, Ali en aquel momento tenía 20, 21 años, mira, yo quiero ser parte de eso, yo quiero aprender de esto, por favor, puedo trabajar en el crew, en lo que tú quieras, pero permíteme estar backstage y enséñame un poco de cómo se maneja o cómo se mueve la olla, como diríamos acá en Puerto Rico. Logra entonces estar aquí en aquel momento. Posteriormente, en el 2011, su compañero de negocios trae a WWE en el 2011 a Qatar. Y entonces descubre que hay 12,000 personas allí. Es como que, espérate, eso es un negocio bastante grande, hay mucha cantidad de gente. Y posteriormente, entonces del 2011 al 2013 hace eso. Posteriormente en el 2013, 2015 de igual manera, tiene un show que trae talentos como Carlito, como Chris Masters, como Alofa, trae talentos como Jinder Mahal, John Morrison, Alberto Del Rio, Rey Mysterio, entre muchísimas otras superestrellas, Hardcore Holly, René Dupree, todos los nombres grandes internacionales. Y Ali Al-Marafi con QPW mete 12,000 personas, que es exactamente lo que metió la WWE porque es el máximo permitido en el building. Es como que todo el mundo empieza a hablar de QPW, todo el mundo empieza a hablar de eso, y de ahí en adelante entonces se convierte en algo fijo. So for your first event, which was the first wrestler or name that came through your mind that, so I'm gonna have a company, this is the person I need there for my first show?
Actually, I was looking for a legend, big legend, just to be the host of the show. So I spoke to Bret Hart, but he didn't make it because, you know, his health situation with the cancer at that time. And I was an unlucky guy in that time because after Bret, I was looking for Ric Flair, and he accepted. But after a few days that we heard that his son passed away and he couldn't make it. So no one came. That's why I just used Carlito, Chris Masters, and Bobby Lashley, and it was good. It was good. But for me, I was looking for a big names to be host of the show.
So I'll translate that to Spanish. Él buscaba una gran superestrella, una leyenda para ser parte de su primer evento. Varios nombres vinieron a la mente. Bret Hart fue el primero, pero lamentablemente en aquel momento dado estaba lidiando con su situación de salud por el cáncer. Gracias a Dios lo venció. Y posteriormente intenta con Ric Flair, pero en aquel momento dado pues fallece su hijo Reed y todo cae de manera negativa. Entonces, sus dos planes originales no se pudieron y ahí entonces decidió, ok, pues voy a traer gente como Big Daddy B, como Carlito, como Chris Masters y como muchas otras personas, y así nace el primer evento, which leads me, you know, to my next question, like, what do you recall from your first event? So from the first day you picked up the wrestlers at the airport, the dynamic backstage, the audience and how they were, you know, buzzing and screaming and clapping and cheering and booing. What do you recall from QPW's first event?
I still remember my first segment. There was a segment, we have a manager, heel manager, it's called Mr. H, and he's Arabic, and he was a manager of Alufa, Lloyd Anwai, and Vezra, Big Daddy V. And when he came out with the wrestler, it was so crowd, people was so exciting to see those wrestlers live on the ring. And they start booing him. I feel good, you know, when I find that people understand the business, how they boo, how they cheering. This is babyface and this is heel. You know, it was really funny for me, and it made me happy. The reaction was very good. You know, in my first time, there was only 700 or between 600 to 700 people, the attendance. But from 700, the next show, second show in Suguagif, we call it Suguagif Tura, because the first show, it was going QBW, the beginning. QBW, the beginning. The second show, it was QBW Suguagif Storm, because it's old market and everybody know we are Middle East and there is sandstorm. We call it Suguagif Storm. And Suguagif Storm, from 600 in the beginning, we moved to 2,000 sold out. So the people here understand wrestling, even the young boys. The young boys, they are crazy of wrestling, and they know we have to boo this guy, cheering for this guy. It's not like Japan, you know, in Japan just keep clapping their hand all the time. And it's not making any difference if he's heel or babyface. No, we are not.
So I'll translate that to Spanish. En aquel momento dado, le pregunto sobre ¿qué recuerda de ese primer evento? El primer segmento envolvía a Alofa, a Lloyd Anwai, junto con Big Daddy V y un manejador rudo árabe por parte de Alofa. Entonces habían 600 personas en el primer evento de todos, antes de que fuese o naciese la empresa de manera como la conocemos hoy día. Y entonces él recuerda que todo el mundo sabía cuándo aplaudir, todo el mundo sabía cuándo abuchar, pero la realidad es que él no esperaba eso y él como que le gustó ver que la cultura estaba, que la gente estaba educado en cuanto a la industria, que sabía quién era el babyface, que sabía quién era el heel. Entonces del primer evento, que es QPW Beginning, pasan al segundo evento que se traduce a Tormenta Arena o Sandstorm, que de 600 personas pasa a 2,000 personas. Y entonces era sold out en la arena. Y posteriormente fueron elevando hasta lo que conocemos hoy día, which leads me now to my next question. How did the wrestlers felt being treated by yourself and by your staff in QPW? Because so far, the friends I've had that work there, they were amazed with the way QPW and Ali Al-Marafi treated them. So what's the key to having the talent happy while flying, 12, 14 hours? It's like most of the time that's a complaint for most talents, but not for QPW. It's like they are eager, they are happy to be there. So what's the key to that success?
First of all, I'm so happy to hear this from you. You need a team, a professional team. You cannot do this all by yourself. You're supposed to have your professional team. You have special team for the airport. You have a special team for the booking. You have a special team who have to stay with the wrestler in the hotel, even for their food, for this program. Of course, when they coming, we're supposed to show them the country, how it look like. We take them around in the city. We need a team for this. So I cannot do this all by myself, for sure not. The hospitality, it was very important for me. Of course, when we get any wrestler, there is a team, not just one guy, more than 2 and 3 guys who's waiting for this wrestlers, even as if he's indeed wrestler. Even if they are small name, there is at least 3 people waiting for him in the airport, take him to the private car to the hotel, and someone just confirm their room conversation. Just for as I say, to confirm he has a room in the hotel. And second day in the morning, there is a team also to stay with the wrestlers. For example, for the breakfast, for the dinner, we have to reminding them all the time, the dinner that time, this is the rule, you have to do this, you don't have to do that, because there is also a rule, because they have to run with our culture rule, because in Middle East is different, every different country, they have their culture rule. So that's why how we make them safe. This is most important. If you want to stay safe, you have to listen to our rule. This is 1. 2, whatever you want, you will find it. Whatever you want, don't worry. Even we have a doctor, special doctor for you. Even we have someone stay with you all the time. If you want to go somewhere, there's a car waiting for you outside.
Wow.
In the end, the bottom line is you should have a professional team, and don't try to do all this by yourself. You cannot.
I'll translate that. That's a great fact. I'll translate that to Spanish. ¿Cuál es la clave de mantener el talento feliz? Muchas veces, para las personas que han trabajado en eventos, saben que llevar un talento fuera de su casa es sumamente difícil. Y más cuando le toca viajar muchas horas. Pero todo el mundo que ha hablado, todo el mundo está feliz de llegar a QPW. Todo el mundo se siente feliz de llegar a Qatar a trabajar con Ali. ¿Por qué? Simple, Ali tiene esa mentalidad de hospitalidad, de que vamos a tener un equipo especializado para ellos en el aeropuerto, un equipo especializado para ellos en el hotel, un equipo especializado que los va a llevar a hacer turismo. Siempre tienen un vehículo a la parte de afuera del hotel esperándolos si acaso ellos quieren ir a hacer algo. Siempre tienen una persona encargada de ellos de la comida. Se aseguran de que lleguen a las habitaciones. Hospitalidad, amabilidad, y la idea es mantener el talento feliz. Él dice que es imposible hacerlo todo por él mismo, como muchos promotores intentan hacer. Así que él reconoce eso y comienza a delegar responsabilidades en equipos especializados para poder llegar a eso. Among the multiple talent you booked on Qatar.
Can I say something else? Sorry,
yes.
Can I say
Yes, of course.
I just told you about what we're doing, or exactly what is our system when they arrive to Qatar. But there's a different system also in the venue, in the arena. Every single group, we have like a group of wrestlers. Every 7 wrestlers, this is just an example, every 7 or 6 wrestlers have a room. This is one. They have their own bathroom. They have their own food. Also, they have their own hospitality. So, and for the big names like Legend, they have also the VIP room for them to stay alone, and someone to serve them all the time. This is how we can organize everything in the time, how they know the booking of their matches all the time. Also, there is a space in every single room. There is a space if they want to talk about the match and how can they run the match. This is what I want to say.
Interesting. I'll translate that to Spanish. Eso es únicamente fuera del venue. Cuando los luchadores llegan al venue, tienen un equipo especializado backstage, tienen cuartos aparte, tienen baños aparte cada uno, tiene cada uno su cama aparte para poder descansar en el proceso. Y para las leyendas grandes tienen el cuarto o el salón VIP, que tiene otros privilegios diferentes, tienen su equipo médico especializado, entre muchas otras cosas. Y cada cuarto tiene un área específica para trabajar el booking de la lucha designado para eso, que me parece bastante interesante. Among the multiple names you booked, there's one that is really interesting because I know his price, and flying him, it's expensive. Booking him is expensive. Everything is expensive. And I'm talking about Sting. He's now with AEW. We try to reach him as well. And the interesting part for me is, how did you manage to work with Sting? I mean, he's one of the guys in the industry with a list this long of the things you cannot do and a list this short of the things you can do. So how do you manage to work with a legend like Sting?
First of all, I don't remember exactly how did I think about Sting at that time. Just I remember that I was trying to book another big name, not Sting, for SummerSlam 1. You know, we want to do like a WrestleMania for Middle East. So that was my idea, to do a SummerSlam. And I created the name SummerSlam. So when I talk with my team about we're supposed to have a big show like WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom, Trouble A in Mexico, you know, big names of wrestling show, that I want to do something for Middle East. So I want to make first the name, its symbol, everybody can see it, SummerSlam. And that was good, but we need big names to come in. Someone, you know, like, he's the propaganda, you know. He's the guy, when I'm going to bring him, everybody will talk about it. So in the beginning, we were talking about Batista, to be honest with you. I don't want to say his name, but I will say it. We would try to bring Batista in that time, but he has, you know, like his movie tour for opening ceremony for his movie, and he's not free in that time. So I was in a restaurant with my team, have a dinner, and I said, I don't know how, but I just said, like, what about Sting? And, you know, my team said, oh, no, Ali, this is too much. I said, no, Sting. And to be honest with you, I was in Texas, in Hall of Fame. I was there when he retired. I was there on the stage in the Hall of Fame ceremony 2016 when he announced it, when he said, I retired. So, and my partner said, Ali, he's retired. I said, I will try. I need him just for a small segment, nothing serious. But I don't know how can I get him. But for my good communication, my good relation with so many people working in this business, I got someone, I don't want to tell you his name, and I called him. I said, hey, I need Sting. Would you mind to give me his email? He said, sorry, Ali, I don't have his email, but I can call him for you. And this is the point. Then he asked me about the day, the time, the price, everything. I gave him everything. To be honest with you, he refused. And for the first moment, he said, no, I cannot go 16 hours it was 16 hours flight. So I told my friend, I need his number. I need to talk with him. He said, Ali, just email him. He will reply. So I emailed him, and he replied in the same time. He said, sorry, I have this, I have that. He was busy, by the way. He has booking. I told him, about your booking, and what date? He said that it was Saturday. I still remember Saturday in Texas afternoon. I told him, my friend, his name is Steve. I told him, Steve, I can get you to your booking in the same time without any delay. He said, how? Because the different time between Qatar and America, it was around 8-9 hours. So if I make you fly after the show, you will reach Texas 8 a.m. And he said, wow, it's making sense. So what about now? What do you think? Would you want to come? Then I asked him that, it's not about the money. It's all about how the conversation between you and him. When I asked him, let's make a history together. This is first time for you. You've been in Japan before. You've been in Europe, but you've never been in Middle East, and you still can do it. So with these conversations, he liked the idea. And I told him that I will fly to you next month. And this is what exactly I did with my team. We went to him in WrestleCon 2017. I spoke to him there, and he was, he felt happy for this, and he accepted.
I'll translate that to Spanish. Primero, nace el logo y el estilo de evento que conocemos hoy día como Superstar Slam, que es el producto que ellos tienen ahora mismo, Super Slam Event en Qatar de QPW. Y ¿cómo vamos a hacer que esto se venda, la propaganda, el marketing? Pues le ocurre un nombre primero a la mente. Batista es la persona, él dice. Batista es la persona, pero por su itinerario, por las películas, no se pudo. El cine estaba un poquito complicada la cosa. Entonces vamos a intentarlo con Sting, pero Sting está retirado. Él dice, yo estuve ahí, él estuvo ahí en el stage, en el Hall of Fame, cuando Sting lo exaltaron, en la última lucha, él estuvo allí, él sabe que Sting está retirado, pero vamos a intentarlo. No tengo su email. Conocí a una persona, que sabemos más o menos ya quién es, que tenía el contacto de Sting. No tengo su email para dártelo, pero yo puedo llamarlo. Ok, pues llama a Sting. No puedo, tengo bookings, tengo esto, tengo lo otro, no puedo viajar 16 horas después de que había dicho que sí. ¿Está bien? Dame el número, yo quiero hablar con él. Y Ali lo llama. Le dice, Steve, que es su nombre, mi amigo, vamos a dialogar esto. Tú tienes un booking en Texas, ¿verdad que sí? Por la cambio y la diferencia de zona horaria de Qatar a Texas son de 8 a 9 horas de diferencia. Entonces yo te voy a llevar ahí a tiempo y como que okay, perfecto, tiene sentido. Y se reunieron una última vez en persona en WrestleCon y ahí fue que Steve y Ali hicieron, perfecto, ahí está el handshake y así de esa manera es que llega Sting a QPW. Ali, it's been more than an honor for us to have you here as our guest. Before we go to the last question, I wanted to say something in Spanish for a Spanish-speaking audience. Pueden seguir a QPW Qatar Pro Wrestling en todas sus redes sociales. Twitter at QP Wrestling, Twitter at QP Wrestling, Instagram at QPW_Wrestling o QPW_Wrestling. De igual manera en Facebook, QPW The Official Page, Facebook QPW The Official Page. De igual manera pueden seguirlo en su website QPW-wrestling.com, QPW-wrestling.com. Y de igual manera pueden seguirlo a él en sus redes sociales, Ali Al-Marafi en Instagram, @Ali Al-Marafi, @Ali Al-Marafi en Instagram, y en Twitter @Ali_A_Marafi, o sea, Ali_A_Marafi. As mentioned, it's been more than an honor for us to have you here as our guest. Last but not least, what can we expect from QPW? Not on 2021, because we know the next event is going to be booked for next year. So what can we expect from QPW in 2022?
For now, we are, thinking about to do 2 big shows in the year. And this is supposed to be in last year, In 2020, we plan to do 2 shows, Super Slam 2, and another one supposed to be in October, but because of COVID-19, so we do nothing to do. So in 2021 or 22, we will do 2 shows. We will work on the 2 big shows, Super Slam 3 and another shows during the World Cup 2022.
Ooh.
On December 2022. And also we will do a monthly show for QPW Academy, because we have also Academy, which has local wrestlers, Qatari wrestlers, Arabic wrestlers. So we're going to have a monthly show for them. So this is what we plan to do in 2022.
I'll translate that to Spanish. ¿Qué podemos esperar de QPW en el año 2022? Sencillo. Por la pandemia en el 2020 y en el 2021 no se ha podido hacer nada. Ahí que la gente está ansiosa de ver lucha libre. Así que van a tener 2 shows grandes, entre ellos uno en el World Cup. ¿Dónde va a ser el World Cup? ¿Dónde es la Copa Mundial? En Qatar, en Doha, allí directamente. Así que qué mejor setting que darle a la gente buen fútbol y buena lucha libre. Así que es bastante interesante esa mentalidad. Y en adición van a tener un show mensual todos los meses nuevamente, todos los meses del QPW Academy con sus estudiantes y el talento local. Así que vamos a ver mucha más acción de QPW. Tienen que seguirlo en sus redes sociales. Sigan este excelente producto allá directamente desde Qatar para el mundo entero. Échenle un ojo, que estoy seguro que no les va a decepcionar. Sigan pendientes a QPW, a Ali Al-Marafi y a Lucha Libre Online para más información. Sir, as mentioned, it's been an honor for us to have you as our guest. Always wishing you success in QPW and all your projects and just in your life. And thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your invitation. It's been hard to me to be in your channel. Thank you so much.
Gracias a ustedes y sigan pendientes a Lucha Libre Online, la marca número 1 Pro Wrestling y Combat Sports para más información.